Bushel White. You, as usual, always on time, always the first. Well, you and Stephen are always, and Mary Odia are always the first. Mary Odia is here, Aza Sarah is here, Ademola Adeniro is here. Justine Mayo is here. Yomi Jegede is here. Temi ID. Adeshola is here. I hope Osaro is there too. Electra Morris. Osas. We are dealing with the topic of we are dealing with this topic of love, and I am really advising everybody that can to come and join. Yeah. Give me some space in mind. I really would like to advise everybody that can to come and join this program, because this is going to be life transforming and life changing. So please go and check your friends, go and call on them, go and invite your friends and your relatives. Let's tag our friends, let's tag people and invite them to come. We are going to be starting right now, and we are going to be starting. So the topic of this week is knowing God, knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. That is the series. That is the general series that we have. But the topic for today is love through self-denial. So yes, how to love God through self-denial, or discovering love through self-denial. How to discover love, and how to love God, and loving other people through self-denial. But the topic in general is knowing God, understanding God through love. So if today's message is love through self-denial, so you could also say loving God through self-denial, or coming to know love through self-denial, coming to understand love through self-denial, or coming to know God through self-denial, or coming to discover God through self-denial, or coming to understand God through self-denial. That is to say, self-denial is a means of discovering love, and self-denial is a means of knowing God. Self-denial is a means of understanding God, and of course love. So knowing and understanding God through love. I received a message yesterday. After yesterday's message, somebody called me and said, where can I hear more messages like this? I said, what do you mean more messages like this? Where you are talking about God. He said, I've been in church all my life, but I've never had messages on God. How can I have messages on God? Where can I want to know God? Just like you are talking now. How do I discover God? That is the African church for you. This guy from Nigeria. And he said, I've never been taught about God. I know God can bless you. I know God is powerful. God is a miracle worker. God can heal you. God can do this and that. But what about him? About God himself? I want to know about God himself. I need to know about God himself. How can I know about God himself? What? I want to know God. What is God? So that is the crisis of the African church today. We know everything about God, but not him. We hear about God, we can teach about God, we can preach about God, but we don't know God. That is a crisis, and that's what we are trying to deal with. So knowing God is the goal. Understanding God is the goal through love. So this week we are going to be talking about how to love God, how to know God, how to understand God through loving God and through loving people. But this today in particular is Understanding God, knowing God through self-denial. Understanding God and loving people, loving God and loving people through self-denial. Knowing God, understanding God through self-denial. That is to say, self-denial actually is a blessing in disguise. That a lot of people will think that self-denial is negative. But the reason why God encourages us, Jesus encourages us to deny ourselves, is to be able to love God more. To be able to discover love, loving God. So it's not about, we don't do self-denial. The difference between Christianity, the difference between Christianity and Buddhism, okay, we'll give it to a telephone number. Yeah, okay, no, the difference between Christianity and, are you saying him? The difference between Christianity and Buddhism is that in Buddhism, you are taught to deny yourself and deny reality so that you will come closer to God. You go to astral world. Okay? So you have to deny everything. But that is not through meditation. So you meditate so that you'll be able to deny yourself everything. But the whole idea in Christianity is so that you don't sin. In Buddhism, it's so that you don't sin. But in Christianity, we don't deny ourselves just so that we don't sin. We deny ourselves for the simple reason of discovering love. Not just love for God, but love for people. And actually, to deny myself to know God is only possible if that self-denial will be used to minister to a living human being. Now, the problem we're having in Africa is this. We are people in Africa are trying to deny themselves to love God, bypassing man. That is not going to work. You cannot love God without loving man. So, let's say, for example, you want to deny yourself. You have this, your device. Yeah, this is your device. One of the ways for you to deny yourself and discover love is to give this device to somebody. Not to me, because if you give it to me as a pastor, then it means you have an interest. You want me to thank you or to think well about you. But when you give this to somebody that can never, okay, can you come? Yeah. Let's say you give this to her, someone that can never thank you. Give it to her, but not to me, but you give it to her. So if you give it to her, someone that cannot thank you, you are depriving yourself of what you have. So that deprivation, depriving yourself of what you have, that is self-denial. That is self-denial. Now, it's painful to be able to do that. You know, to deprive what belongs to you is painful. But when you do that, and give it to somebody who doesn't have the opportunity, you are able to think in your mind the state of her lack, where she was, all the needs that she was having. You know, somebody that was having a need that didn't have what you are having, doesn't have the opportunity to have what you have. So by thinking of a lack, you begin to have compassion. You begin to have empathy. You begin to have sympathy. That way you are becoming godlike. When you begin to experience that empathy, that love, that sympathy towards that person, that is making you to know the nature of God, which is love, which is empathy, which is sympathy. That makes you to now come to understand God. That God is a loving God, is an empathic God, is a sympathetic God. So that is how we get to, this is how we get to know God through self-denial. That's just a simple example. Let's say this one example. Let's give another example. You are in a hurry to go somewhere, or you have your own family. But this is a widow, let's say, for example. She's a widow, and for you, it's easier for you to spend your money for your family and assist your family, and give your money to church. But because she's a widow, you are denying yourself, self-denial, some of the things that you could have used for your family, maybe from your pocket or from your money, and you give her some money, you hug her, care for her, you hug her, you take care of her. What is that? You are denying yourself money, denying yourself your time, denying yourself, things that you could have used for yourself, egocentrism. You are reducing yourself, denying yourself. What does that mean? Somebody who is crying, who is in need, when you see and have compassion, you see her need. You let her need touch you. You see her deprivation. You let that deprivation minister to your heart. You are becoming like God because your heart, the nature of God is arising in you. The compassion of God is coming to you. So that way is making you to understand how God feels towards a needy widow. It makes you to know the nature of God, which is love, which is compassion. That is, so self-denial is an instrument of love. Self-denial is a way to be able to discover the nature of God. And self-denial is a way for us to be able to give that nature of God to another person who is in need. So the whole idea is how to know God. This whole thing is about God. So you don't deny yourself to just make yourself suffer like religion. Deny myself just to impress God. Oh, I'm not eating, I am fasting just to impress God. No, God said, I don't want that kind of fast. The kind of fast is that when you don't want to eat, you are not eating, you are fasting, that money that you are supposed to spend on yourself while you are fasting, go use it to look for the needy. It is not your, I'm not eating and fasting, that's not where the blessing of fasting is. But the blessing of fasting is how you are able to express that self-denial that you are going through. You must express it in the nature of God, through love of God towards somebody else. That is what Isaiah 58 is all about. When you deny yourself food, when you deny yourself in any other way, that self-denial is for you to be able to express the nature of God, which is love, to another person. That is why in Isaiah 58 it says, when you fast, go look for people who are in need. So any kind of self-denial is an opportunity to experience the nature of God, so that that nature of God could later be extended to other people. Okay. For example, let's talk about justice. Let's say that you are a woman, and yesterday we saw a film where a man raped a woman. Horrible stuff, horrible story. But when we started showing that film of how the woman was telling a story, how she was raped, and she forgave the person who raped her, people left the platform. People were it was too bad, it was too difficult for people to watch. So people couldn't watch it. So, but she, by forgiving that person, she has the right to say, I was raped, I was offended. So I have the right to anger or to hatred. But by denying herself the right to hatred, by denying herself the right to anger, is self-denial. But she would then discover the nature of God, which is forgiveness. Because God himself is a forgiving God. So by the time you deny yourself your right, that doesn't mean there should not be justice. There should be justice, but you don't have the right to anger. There should be justice, but you don't have the right to hatred. So she denies herself the right to hatred, forgiving the man. She is discovering the nature of God. But the law must still take its due course. So in that case also, they still went to court. The man was put in prison. Why? So it's not because she didn't forgive. It's so that he will not go and violate other women. It's so that he will not go and rape other people. It's so that he will not be a danger to the society. So the fact that you forgave him, that doesn't mean that he shouldn't still go through all the due process of justice. So today, what we're going through is love, learning love, or knowing God, understanding God through self-denial. Knowing love or learning love through self-desire. Learning to love God through self-denial. Learning to love people through self-denial. Learning to walk in love through self-denial. So it's learning to know God through self-denial, understanding God, learning to understand God through self-denial, and learning to love people and understand people through self-denial. Now, I want us to go and look at a video here. Let's do the video. Yeah, let's do the video. Thank you, guys. Let's do the video, and after the video, I'm going to show you, explain to you some more things. But let's go ahead and have a look at this video here.
It seems impossible. How could a mother forgive the person who killed their child? Well, you're about to meet a mom who did. In 1993, 16-year-old O'Shea Israel shot and killed a 20-year-old man at a party. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. But 10 years into his sentence, the victim's mother actually reached out to him, and after O'Shea was released, their relationship grew even stronger. Now, O'Shea lives next door to her and considers her a second mom. Please welcome O'Shea Israel and Mary Johnson. Hello, Mary. Hi, O'Shea. Welcome to the show. So, O'Shea, we have to go back to that day where it was you were 16 years old, and Mary Johnson's son, Loramian, was also 16. You guys, you didn't know each other. You were at a party. What happened?
Well, he was 20.
He was 20, excuse me.
Yeah. We really don't get too much into the personal detail because it's a little too much.
Okay.
But long story short, egos. You know, he was there with his crew, his entourage. I came in with my crew, and egos started playing off each other right off top. And the thing about egos is they're just like eggs, neither any good until you break them. And we were going back and forth, you know, gesturing, posturing, you know, having a pissing contest, if we can say that. And things got taken too far, you know, and I wound up murdering their son.
Now, Mary, Loramian was your only son.
Yes.
So you were in the court every day during O'Shea's trial. You had to hear all of the details. What went through your mind? What did you want to see happen to O'Shea?
Well, at that time, O'Shea to me was an animal. And the end result that I wanted was that he would be in prison for the rest of his life. That they'd throw away the key and he would never get out.
Now, O'Shea, you ended up serving 25 years. 10 years into his sentence, Mary, you decided that you wanted to speak to him. What happened? And why? What made you want to see him 10 years later?
Well, we each have a calling on our life. And after the trial was over, one day I was studying and I opened up a book and it fell on a poem called Two Mothers. And the Two Mothers poem was about two angels in heaven. Because of the color they had on, they both knew that they were mothers on earth, and they began to talk about their children. And one mother said, you know, I would have taken my son's place on the cross if I could have. And the other mother fell on one knee and said, oh, well, you are she, the mother of Christ. And the mother of Christ lifted her up and kissed a tear from her cheek. And she said, now tell me of your son, so I may grieve with you. And she said, my son is Judas Iscariot. And the poem ended there. So I had to read it again. And the second time I read it, I heard what I want is for mothers of murdered children and mothers of children that have taken life to come together and heal together. And I thought, yeah, well, that can't happen. I don't want that to happen. That's just impossible. But because of who was within me, I knew that this is what I was supposed to do. But in order to do that, I figured I had to meet with O'Shea and make sure that I had forgiven him. I had told him at the end of the trial that I forgave him, but I really needed to make sure. And at that time that I did, it was just lip service. It was not for real.
Right. And O'Shea, when you heard that Mary wanted to speak with you, to see you, it's not something you wanted to do right off the bat, correct?
Of course not.
So how did you end up saying yes?
Well, I initially said no because who wants to take responsibility, who wants to hold themselves accountable, didn't even really want to admit what I had done yet. I went through so many years just trying to avoid it, kept it tucked away. And then I started a transitional process in my life where I felt like I'm on my way home and I don't want to go home the same way that I left. And, I started educating myself, started building with some of the other brothers in prison, they was trying to better themselves. And I felt like once I go home, I want to be a man. I want people to see me as a man. I want them to see me as an asset rather than a liability. And part of what I had to do was acknowledge what I did, take control over that situation, and allow her to closure. Because had I been the one that was murdered, I would expect the person that, if they felt like they was man enough to take my life, then you should be man enough to face my mother. And I had to do that in order to make my next step.
So you say yes. What, for both of you, what was that first meeting like? Just walk us through that.
That meeting was beyond belief. I went there not knowing what was going to happen, but we had to go through a training, not a training, for a victim offender dialogue. You have to go through the Department of Corrections, and we had 4 2-hour meetings. They wanted to know why we wanted to do this. So I told them 3 things of the reason why I wanted to meet with him, but I really wasn't for sure, so I didn't know what to expect. When we got there, I knew that I wanted to know why he had taken my son's life. I wanted to know why he had changed his name, and I wanted to make sure I had forgiven him. Well, the only thing that we really ended up talking about was forgiveness. It was just unbelievable, and that day, I was just set free from all the hatred.
How did you get set free? This is O'Shea, she killed your only son. I mean, what do you say? I was set free. How did that happen?
Before I went to prison, I had to work on myself. Yeah. I had to allow God to tell me what it was that I needed to do to truly forgive. And I didn't even know that this was going to take place when I went there. But I had to pray for him. I had to say I choose to forgive him. And there's just a process.
I want to interrupt you for a minute because I want to let the audience know that when you did get out, you guys got closer. O'Shea, you got closer to Mary. Forgiveness is one thing. O'Shea, how did you end up living next door to Mary? You're her neighbor now.
Right. Well, my landlord is actually on the advisory board with Mary, and they had a home welcoming for me once I came home.
Okay.
Her and a group of her friends, just wanted to welcome me back home and to make sure that I had a positive transition. And it was Brian Mogren, that's his name, it was his suggestion that, hey, let's support him the best way that we can to make sure that this transition goes smooth. And
yeah, when I just believe you didn't talk about her necklace. It is really
I'm looking at the necklace. It's you, Mary. Can I touch it? It's you, Mary, and it's your son. And then if you turn it over, it's a picture of O'Shea, and you call O'Shea your second son.
Yes.
How do you do that?
He's my spiritual son. This is what God wants for me in my life. And I have to do what he has told me to do. He's told me to declare him as my spiritual son. And he is. And I tell you, it's God. It's the hand of God all over this. If it was just you.
How do you think your son, Lorraine, would feel about you calling O'Shea your son?
I sometimes hear him say, "You go, Mom."
Really?
Yes.
Do you ever look at O'Shea and think back to what was?
No, not really. I just, I have forgiven him. And, sometimes we forgive people and then we see them and we get that little nudge going on. No, that never happens.
Wow. Well, we have to go. Thank you so much for talking to us and inspiring us about forgiveness. Our thanks to Mary Johnson and O'Shea.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. All right. Or maybe it's better for when the two of them are there, so that it will be like this. Okay. I hope you got the picture of what has just happened. There is no need, there is no way this woman, Mary, now this woman here, she is the mother of a boy that was killed by this man. So this man killed the son of this lady. So this is the killer of her son. So what was the twist? Even though she was a Christian, but she was still harboring hatred, and she was wishing him dead. And wishing him death, even though he was a Christian. Even after she was a Christian, even after they had put him in prison, she was still wishing him dead. But while she was wishing him dead, she had no peace. Because she was always remembering that my son is dead. My son is dead and he is alive, even though he's in prison, but he's still alive. So any remembrance that he's still alive is bringing anger to her. She's becoming more mad every time she's thinking about her son and about the killer. Even though he's being punished, but anger. So she was dying. She couldn't live because of the anger. Is that the way it was? Can you make it, just two of them, make it big? No, not you. She. So even though, I thought that was the way it was. Okay. So even though she was already in jail, but 10 years after, she couldn't find life. But the life she was living was a life of crying, anger, hatred, even though she was a Christian. And if she had died like that, there's no guarantee that she would go to heaven. You see, bitterness, anger, unforgiveness doesn't give you anything. You don't score a mark at the end of the day. So what was needed? What was the key ingredient that was needed for her to be able to forgive the killer of the son and then end up adopting the killer as her own son and then living in the same house? So what could have happened? What is that main thing that is needed? You know what is that main thing that is needed? Self-denial. Why is it that she couldn't forgive? She couldn't deny herself the right for revenge. She needed to deny herself the right to bitterness. She needed to deny herself the right to anger and hatred. It was only after she was able to discover God, the love of God, and she was able to deny. You see, all of us, we don't like to deny ourselves anything. We want to have right. I have the right to be bitter. I have the right to be angry. I have the right to kill my son. I have the right. You know one thing that is more powerful than have the right? To that, I have the right to anger. I have the right to... One thing that is more powerful to all your rights is self-denial. Because self-denial leads you in the path of love. Self-denial leads you to love. When she was able to deny herself, she was able to love. Now, how did that happen? Let me show you how that happened. She was reading a book. And in that book that she was reading, that's why we must write normal book, good book, great books. Was it a poetry she was reading on a book or a book poem? I think it was a poem. She was reading a poetry, and that's why we must write the right kind of things. And the story in that poetry is amazing. I need two women to come. Hello. Hey. Let's say it is your son that was murdered. But it is your son that killed her son. But in that poetry, in that story, the story went like this. These two mothers eventually died and went to heaven. But two of them were Christians. So your son was killed. Your son killed a son. But two of you are God's children. But so when they got to heaven, they discovered that these two women were not their own. She was not the one because she's still on earth. Mm-hmm. But the child that was killed is you. But she discovered that your child was Jesus. So you are Mary, the mother of Jesus. And then you discovered that she is the mother of Judas Iscariot. The one that gave your son over to be killed. The one that betrayed your son, that your son will be killed. But what changed, what God used to change her was the fact that at the end of the day, Mary, the mother of Jesus, was listening to her. And what she was hearing was her pain and sorrow for her son. It doesn't matter if the name of her son is Judas Iscariot or not. She is a mother. Even though her son is a killer, but when you listen to her story, that I have not seen him, he died. I've not seen him for all these years. I lived for the next 60 years of my life without anybody, without my son. You know, it doesn't matter anymore. When you begin to hear her sorrow and her pain, she was telling you about all her pain before you discover who was her son. She was telling you all her pain, but everything she was telling you was what you were experiencing. Because your son was killed, and her son was the killer, but you didn't know. But you were just two people, but he was also killed at the end of the day. So you are hearing the sorrow and the story of all your pain, all the things you went through, because your son was killed, all the sorrow of a mother. She was also experiencing the sorrow of that. She said, it doesn't matter anymore who is on what. It is the same thing we are going through. We are both victims. I have to forgive her. It could have been the opposite. It could have been my son who was killed, who killed his own son. It could have been his own son who killed my son. It doesn't matter. It's the same sorrow. We are both victims. You see, that's what we refuse to understand. Like yesterday, when why was the lady that was raped forgiving the man that raped her? Because she came to love, and through love she understood that that man that raped her is also a victim of his own sorrow, of his own unresolved questions. So when she read that story, that my God, so he has a motive, because when she was not forgiving, she was only thinking about her own sorrow. It was only when she read that story, she was saying, oh God, he has a mother too now. So you mean his own mother too is going through the same? It is human tragedy. Only love can overcome it. So it is then she discovered that, so the mother of Jesus and the mother of Judas, at the end of the day, they were on the same spot in heaven. And in heaven, they were going through the same sorrow. So my own sorrow that I'm going through now, what made that to now do that is that, so this sorrow that I'm going through, it means he is going through it because I've not forgiven him. Then I am going through it. Then the mother is going through it too. Let's go and go forgive one another. Let's go and deliver one another. So she went to deliver him, and that's how she got healing. Then he got healing. Then he was released from prison. Then her mother, everybody got it. Then it became a son to her. See what love can do. But all that love started through give me the message, self-denial. If we don't deny ourselves, there is a level of God's knowledge that we will never know. There is a level of God's understanding that we will never know. There is a new level of love that only self-denial can bring you there. Or there is a level of knowledge of God that only self-denial can bring you there. There is a level of understanding God that only self-denial can bring you there. You see, there is an understanding of love that you can only get through self-denial. And there is knowing of God, the knowledge of God that you can only get through self-denial. There is an understanding of God that you can only get through self-denial. But how will you deny yourself? How? Through love to people, through love to God. Love through self-denial. Luke chapter 9, 23 to 26 says, Then he said to them all, if anyone desires to come after me. Why did Jesus make this statement? If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself. Jesus has given us the greatest key to discovering him, to knowing him, to understanding God, to knowing God, to understanding love, to loving him, to loving people. He has given us one of the greatest keys to the discovery of God, one of the greatest keys to the knowledge of God, one of the greatest keys to God's understanding and God's revelation. That's why Jesus said, hey, you want to know me? You want to follow me? You really want to follow me? If any one of you desires to follow me, if you really want to follow me, it's not through the teaching, no. It is not through the just being around me, that you will discover me. If you really want to know me, you want to follow me, are you sure you want to follow me? The greatest secret that will unveil me to you like that, the greatest secret that will open me up to you, that will reveal me to you, that will give you the knowledge of me, of my Father, that will give you the understanding of my Father, that will give you the nature of my Father, which is love. The greatest key is going to be not even that you are following me, not even that you are listening to me, not even that you are in my team. That greatest secret is going to be self-denial. Deny himself. So he said, then he said to them all, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself. Why was Jesus talking about? You see, this is one of the scriptures that most pastors don't want to preach about. Most Christians don't ever want to touch this. They don't want to go there because Christians don't want to deny themselves. But because they have not seen the benefit in it. They have not seen the blessing in it. That actually self-denial is one of the greatest weapons you could ever possess. Self-denial is one of the greatest keys in the spirit realm. Oh, self-denial is one of the shortest ways to carry the nature of God, to become like him, to walk like him, to understand like him, to walk with him, to move in him, and to be like him. Self-denial is a major key that Jesus himself handed over to us. But we are so frivolous. We are so frivolous sometimes. We are so artificial. We are so superficial. We are so superficial that we think it is about our pain. You see, it is egocentrism that makes us to think that self-denial is hurting me. Self-denial is painful to me. Self-denial is not pleasant to me. Is it that egocentrism that we need to kill? It is that ego. It is that selfishness that is denying us the real wealth that is ahead of us. But the real wealth that is in that self-denial, if you had known it, because that wealth is to become the image of God, the nature of God. That wealth will bring you to understanding God like no other. That wealth of self-denial will bring you to the knowledge of God like no other. That wealth of self-denial will make the nature of God to become your nature. You will begin to have God's nature and act like God himself. So that's why Jesus said it is the main key that Jesus gave his disciples. If any one of you desires to come after me, let him deny himself. Understanding love through self-denial. Understanding God through self-denial. Knowing God through self-denial. And take up his cross daily and follow me. For whosoever desires to save his life, he doesn't want to deny himself, want to keep all his own rights, wants to always keep his life, he will lose it. That is the wisdom of God. But the one that is willing to deny himself, to live in self-denial, is the one that eventually wins. That woman that we just saw in the video, she became the winner through self-denial. Because she denied herself. She didn't have a son before. Now she got a son. Because she denied herself, She was living in bitterness before. She couldn't sleep at night. Now she can sleep and rest in peace. And be at peace at night and sleep at night. Before she was in bitterness and anger. She couldn't see people. She was always crying hatred. Now she can live in the joy of the Lord. Now, before she was living in unforgiveness and she would have missed heaven. But because of self-denial, now, she's giving heaven to other people. So much benefit in self-denial. But when you want to keep your anger, when you want to keep your hatred, when you want to keep your right to be angry, your right to retaliate, you become the loser. If you don't want to deny yourself, you want to keep it, you will lose it. That's what Jesus is trying to say. So when I am talking about the herdsmen in Nigeria, for example, we have this menace of herdsmen. And I'm saying our response shouldn't be in anger, shouldn't be of hatred, shouldn't be when I cannot even see Christians, I cannot even listen to Nigerian Christians again because they are all talking about anger, Buhari herdsmen, as if they are not Christians. Even people on this platform, everybody is angry, everybody is talking as if they are not Christians. We have the right to be angry, but they are killing us now. So what will you do if it has been you, God? We don't know God. We don't understand God. Talk less of his nature being in us. Understanding God through self-denial. For whosoever desires to save himself, to keep to himself the right to be angry, the right to retaliate, well, he will lose it. He will lose that same life. But whoever loses his life, okay, I'm ready to lose the right. I'm ready to give up. I deny myself of the opportunity to keep my right to revenge and everything. Whoever loses his life that way for my sake will save it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and is himself destroyed and lost? That is what the right to your own right, the for revenge, the desire to revenge will always lead you to a loss, greater loss. For whoever is ashamed of me and my word, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed. You don't want to identify with the word of God? Well, you are on your own. When he comes in his own glory and his fathers and the holy angels. So a major condition for becoming a disciple of Christ is to learn self-denial. Is to learn to deny self. You have to learn it. Intentionally learn it. Learn it. I am learning self-denial every day through different situations. They will come. There will be opportunity. God will be giving you opportunities left, right, and center to learn self-denial. But there's so much gain in it. So much gain, so much reward in it that much more greater than you will ever imagine. I should see any offense or pain or disappointment from others as divine help from above to make me better. That is to say, I, as a believer who wants to learn self-denial, should see any offense as an opportunity for me to learn love through self-denial. I should see every pain as an opportunity for me to learn love through self-denial. And to learn God's perspective, to learn to understand God, and to learn to know him. I should see every disappointment as an opportunity to learn love, to learn to know God, understand God, and love God through my disappointment and through self-denial. I should see even the actions of others against me as an opportunity for me to learn self-denial. When I forgive them, when I let them go, that doesn't mean that if they deserve to, if they have broken the law of the society, the law shouldn't take its course. No, the law should take its due course, but my heart will be free. My heart is forgiven. My heart is, it's not bitter. So anything that happens to me, especially from the side of other people, is my opportunity to be able to learn self-denial. It's a divine help from heaven to make me a better person, because self-denial makes you a better person. Let's have a look at another video right now. Meanwhile, there is somebody that is watching us right now, and I think you have the cancer of the breast, and actually, I think you had done operation in that breast, and but it's still either it's what they call that, reoccurrence, or what they call it, recess, or whatever I call it. You know, the thing I think has come back again, and but you still have that problem over there. But as you are learning forgiveness right now, as you are learning the nature of God, love, God is ministering to you, and God wants to heal you. So right now, in the name of Jesus, I'm just hearing him, and I'm just telling you your Father's intention about you. God is healing people right now. So in the name of Jesus, that person that is having the problem in the breast, the cancer of the breast, I charge that cancer to die. And I command it to go away in Jesus' name. And that the touch of God, the touch of the Father will come over to you now. And God will restore that breast, will restore your health. And you will not need any other external help. God will perfect that health for you in Jesus' name. Another person that is having problem with what do you call it? Cholesterol. Someone that is having a problem with cholesterol, God is touching you right now. He wants to help you. You have excessive is it oil or fat. God is helping you. Another person that is having problem with sugar diabetes, God wants to touch you right now. Another person that is having problem with the joints of the body, joints, arthritis, God is touching you as well. So, as we are learning this love, and as you are getting it and embracing love, embracing the nature of God, that power of love is restoring your mind, your body, is affecting you, every area of your life. That nature of God, you see, love is the way we are created to function. True love. When we learn love, then we begin, it's like swimming, and you are being carried away by the current, but you're swimming in the current. But when you are living against the nature of love, it's like you are swimming in the river against the current. It's like you are swimming in the opposite direction where the river is flowing. It's going to be tough for you. Life is tough for anybody that doesn't live in love, that doesn't learn to live love and to live the life of love. But when you come back to love, when you come back, it's like the water itself is carrying you when you are swimming. You are not going and fighting against the tide. That is it. That's why right now, as I'm teaching this, the Spirit of God healing is already coming to people. Blessings is coming to people. Relationships are being restored. Right now, miracles are going to be happening. As you embrace the message of love, your life is being restored. Your relationships will be restored. Your life, family will be restored. Just because of the message of love. Because that is what we are made to be. That is our nature. The nature, we are made by love. We are made to love. That is, when we love, we swim in the current. We are carried by the river. But when we don't love and don't observe the laws of love, we are swimming against the current. We are swimming against the tide. So as you are going to be embracing this message of love, things will be coming to order in your life. Things will be working for you. When you live by love, things work. When you live against love, the law of love, things work against you. So let's have a look at this film.
They shall sleep and not wake up. As they travel, they return back no more. In the name of Jesus.
You see, okay, sorry. Let's just continue because let it finish first so that.
May the vengeance of our God strike in the camp of those out of our lives. Whoever is behind the satanic manipulation that kept you the way you are, I decree judgment now on them. will sleep and not wake up. The food they eat will become poison. The air they breathe will choke them. In the name of Jesus, I seize the occultic powers. Ekumane Yezuze, le kukato breke kuketalaka. Shall break a sukato. Whatever plague they place on you, go back to them. Since they love to kill, they'll be killed likewise. Since they love to do evil, evil will not depart from their lives. God will take vengeance against every form of wickedness against you. Whoever say, kill their children. Before they carry the act, they are dead. They will not live to execute their plans. The God that gave me victory over brotherhood give you victory. The God that gave me victory over Lumba give you victory. In the name of Jesus. May their falling know no bounds. When they shall be judged, they will judge and send us to hell. In the name of Jesus. But for you, for all your mourning, God will make you to dance. God will beautify your life and suffer in ashes. You will begin to be dead with glory and honor. Everywhere you have been pleasing, you are free today. Become a wonder to your world. For our sake, every genuine person, hear me, not your brothers and sisters, not your wife and husband, everyone who rejoices that you are good, I thank God for your life. May this prayer, our children who are not into such practices, our husbands, our wives who are not into take practices, they will be a take of this grace. Our brothers, our sisters who love us genuinely will partake of these prayers. But even if it's your wife who wants you dead, I command her to go this week. Even if it's your husband who wants you dead, I command him to go this week. Father, you have said
I think that's enough. I think that's enough. Now, why am I playing this for you to say? What these people are doing, these Nigerian African Christians, they are teaching you to live and operate against the nature of God. Okay, have you ever had a... Can you bring your coat? Is that your coat? Yeah. Yeah, this one. Yeah, bring it, please. So you can wear it, just wear it, yeah. Now this is like a 4, like the animal 4. Okay, can you hold it out? Yeah, hold it. What the G was? Yeah. So this is an animal 4 here. You know, let's say this is the body of a cat or any domestic animal. If you are going to fondle it and stroke it, and you are stroking against the layout, against the nature, against the flow, against the current of the body, of the air, you are stroking it against, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. But when you take the cat and you just throw it in the line of the current, everything is smooth. You enjoy it, the cat enjoys it, everything is just smooth. That is how we are being. Love is that current to go in the flow of the current. That is how we are. God is love. And He created us in His image. What was His image? Love. In His likeness. so that we will be like him. When we are like him, when we operate like him, loving, forgiving, even at the price of self-denial, when we are forgiving like that, we are stroking in the right direction. And it's smooth for you and for the other guy. The same thing as with swimming against the current. If you are swimming against the current, you are making life difficult for yourself. What is the current of this kingdom? The current of this kingdom is love. The language and the nature of this kingdom is love. The nature of God Almighty himself is love. When you live by love, by the principles of love, forgiveness, even at the price of self-denial, you prosper. Life takes you go through life easy. The current of love energizes you, makes you, gives you, hates you in your pathway of life. Just like the current of the water hates you and helps you. But when you flow and you swim against the current, which is against the nature of love, you make life difficult for yourself. So, thank you, sir. Thank you. So what these people are doing, show me his face or something, or this crowd or whatever. So what these so-called pastors are doing in Africa, they are damaging. That's why life will always be difficult in Africa. Life will always be difficult. It doesn't matter. It's better for us not to believe in God even, but live by these principles of love of God. I mean, law, by the principle and law of love. Then life and that principle of love is aiding us and making life easier for us. Like Europe. They don't believe in God too much, but they believe in love. Because that is the practical manifestation of the nature of God. They don't profess that they are religious, So what I'm trying to say is that it's better for us not to be religious like Europe, but to love people, to walk and live by the principle of love, than to be religious and not live by the principles of love. That is exactly the lesson God was trying to teach us in the story of the Good Samaritan and the priest and the Levite. The priest was religious, but he didn't live by the principles of love. God said he would not go to the kingdom of God. The Levite was religious, but he didn't live by the principles of God, of love. God said he will not go to heaven. But the one that will go to heaven is the one that was not religious, so to say, was not a Jewish Samaritan, but he was living by the principle of love. He is the one that's going to go to heaven. I don't know if people are getting it. So these pastors who are teaching religiosity, who are promoting religion and selling religion to people instead of the nature of God, they are killing our people. That's why no matter how many Nigerians will go to church, our lives will keep on being hard. Our lives will keep on being hard. Our lives will keep on being hard. Why? Because we are swimming against the current. We are swimming, we are stroking against the current. The current of God, the current of this kingdom is love. So what they are teaching here now is hatred, which is not the nature of God, but the nature of Satan. It's better for those people not to have gone to the church, so that they will not learn that evil way. So that they will not learn, because what they are teaching them in church now is to live against their own nature. Because love is flowing through we are made by love. We are made according to the image of God. We are made in love. We are made to function by love. So our functionality is only possible through love. Your blood system, there is love written in your blood system. Your veins, your mind, your brain, your tissues, everything is wired in love. So anytime you do anything against love and the principles of love, it's like a spark of electricity in your body. It's like the current is against each other. It's like you are damaging yourself. It's like you are drinking poison. Not to live by love is killing yourself from inside. So that's why people will always be sick. People will not just be sick alone, but people will always have damages and catastrophes and tragedies. Why? Because they are praying, fall down and die. Because they are wishing other enemies to die. Evil will never depart from the house of people who practice evil or who proclaim evil. That's why God said, bless and never curse. Oh, bless only and never curse. Why? Because cursing is not the nature of love. And when you are beginning to curse human beings who are in the image of God, you enter into the territory where curse can affect you. But that's why I say bless only, never curse. Why? Because blessing is remaining in the territory and the nature of love. Is to keep on swimming through the aid of the current. But once you begin to curse, you are going to the territory where the curse can affect you now. So that's why Nigeria, there will be no prosperity, there will be no resolution of problems until people's value system are changed, and until that value system is being reshaped by the greatest value of all, which is the value of love. Until Africa and the African nations embrace the nature of love, we will never understand. We will never understand why things are difficult. And why these people are preaching like this and telling people to pray against the enemies, to kill people, even your own wife. Why these pastors are saying something like this, they are teaching people hatred. They are teaching people anger. They are teaching people things that work against their nature. I don't know if my point is clear or not, but I really hope so. So let's see. I'm going to go into my note now, and I want you to see the principles and why God said, don't be afraid of denying yourself. It's better for you to deny yourself, but to learn love. It's better for you to be even at the loss sometimes. Denying yourself. You think you are losing, but really you are the one who is the great winner. You are the one gaining. You are the one gaining, you are not losing. Learn to deny yourself for the cause of love. Learn to deny yourself to discover love, to know love, and to embody love, and to walk in love. Learn to deny yourself so that you might be able to know the God of who is love himself. Learn to deny yourself. Through denial, self-denial, uncover love, understand love. So, the idea is knowing and understanding God through love. So by through loving the enemy, loving God, but the topic of today is love through self-denial. When you have learned love through self-denial, that is a pathway for you to knowing God. So we know God by self-denial. Self-denial helps us to know God. Self-denial helps us to understand God. Self-denial helps us to love God. Love God, loving God through self-denial, or knowing God through self-denial, or understanding God through self-denial. Self-denial helps us to learn love, to love like God, to embrace the nature of God, to love people, to love God, to understand God, and to love God. That's why Jesus said, if you want to follow me, you desire to come after me, let him deny. You must deny yourself. Self-denial. Why is it needed? Because it helps you to discover love, to discover God, to know God, to love God, and to understand God. So either by me learning to love more, to forgive, or to examine myself. So self-denial is either by me, that helps me to either learn to love more, forgive. Self-denial could come either when I love people more, when I forgive them, or when I am put in a situation when I'm able to examine myself. Self-denial helps me to go through all that. So let's look at the video here. No, before the video, let's 1 Timothy, we've seen it, okay. 1 Timothy 1:15. This is a faithful saying and worthy of all acceptance, that Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners, not to kill them. Christ, even sinners of whom I am chief. We are going to play that video again of Ebiome. So this is a faithful saying and worthy of all acceptance that Christ Jesus came into the world to save even the evilest of all sinners, because we were all like that. Even witches and wizards, he came to the world to save sinners, of whom I am chief. So let's hear now what our Nigerian pastors are teaching. Instead of Nigerian pastors to be teaching that no, don't hate, never hate, just love. Even the people who might have done you evil, even if they are sinners against you, love them. What Nigerian pastors are teaching is hatred, is lack of love, and that's why our society is as bad and horrible as it is right now. Let's have a look at that video again.
They shall sleep and not wake up. As they travel, they return back no more. In the name of Jesus, may the vengeance of our God strike in the camp of those after our lives. Whoever is behind our satanic manipulation that kept you the way you are, I decree judgment now on them. Except I'm not called. Between now and tomorrow 12, you will hear this. In the name of Jesus, they will sleep and not wake up. The food they eat will become poison. The air they breathe will choke them. In the name of Jesus, I seize the occultic powers. Ekumari Yezuzi, le kukato pleke kuketalaka. Sharo pleke sukato. Whatever plague they place on you, go back to them. Since they love to kill, they will be killed likewise. Since they love to do evil, evil will not depart from their lives. God will take vengeance against every form of wickedness against you. Whenever I say kill their children, before they carry the act, they are dead. They will not live to execute their plans. The God that gave me victory over brotherhood give you victory. The God that gave me victory over Lumba give you victory. In the name of Jesus. May their falling know no bounds. When they shall be judged, they will judge and sentence to hell. In the name of Jesus. But for you, for all your money, God will make you to dance. God will beautify your life and suffer in ashes. You will begin to be dead with glory and honor. Everywhere you have been pleasing, you are free today. Become a wonder to your world. For our sake, every genuine person, hear me, not your brothers and sisters, not your wife and husband, everyone who rejoices that you are good, I thank God for your life. May this prayer, our children who are not into such practices, our husbands, our wives who are not into such practices, they will partake of this grace. Our brothers, our sisters who love us genuinely will partake of these prayers. But even if it's your wife who wants you dead, I command her to go this week. Even if it's your husband who wants you dead, I command him to go this week. Father, you have said anything I say on earth you confirm. Such people may their prayers become sin. you, Father. In Jesus' name.
Okay, here we go. Hello. What we have just seen there, that is not Christianity. That is evil. Those prayers are evil. Those are agents, satanic agents prayer. Those are demonic prayers. You see, the reason why he is praying that kind of prayer and teaching people to pray like that is because of egocentrism, to please people, that just to meet the needs of one person. It's because I want my own good. I don't want to deny myself my good. I want good for myself. I want blessing for myself. So anybody standing on my way must die. That is demonic. These people don't know God. I'm just sorry. You know, these people are more of agents of Satan than agents of God. And the only reason why they are living well and they are having all the money is because they are robbing people. These people don't represent God. They represent Satan with this kind of teaching, with this kind of prayers. They have been deceived. They are living in delusion. Let's see another film that will show us just the direct opposite of what these people are teaching their people in Nigeria. And this is also coming from Africa, I think. And this, you will see that that African country where this is being practiced is prospering. But where love is being practiced. But where Nigeria, where we have so many churches, and we have more Christians in Nigeria than in this African country. But because of the love that's been practiced in that country is doing better than Nigeria. Despite all our churches and all our men of God. So let's go.
"17 years ago, this world, and Rwanda in particular, experienced one of the worst tragedies ever. Over 1 million people were killed in 100 days. And for the most part, the world sat and watched it. After the Holocaust, we said never again. And guess what? In 1994, we sat and watched another Holocaust take place.
Igihe cya jenoside baraje interahamwe zaraje ariko bari abatwiciye ziyobowe n'abari abasirikare bo ku bwa Habyarimana baraje bica imiryango yacu yose irashira hasigaye njyewe gusa.
nagiye mu gitero cy'ishiri mu Barundi igihe nasaba imbabazi n'umwuga mufite mvuga ko atazazima ariko byamfashe kubona tukimara gushyikirana.
A lot of people afterwards wondered what they could do, wondered how they could make a difference. The world started looking towards Rwanda. And what we found was this little tiny country, about the size of the state of Maryland, started to rise from the ashes. Today, folks are reconciling, continue to be reconciled as they work together in the coffee house.
Noneho ikindi cya kabiri Imana yankoreye ni ukumpa umutima wo kubabarira. Mbonye ukuntu baje bamubaye baje kunsaba imbabazi n'abasirikare. Aho mu muryango tubana harimo abatwiciye. Harimo abatwiciye harimo n'abo biciye. Twese tubana hamwe muri iryo shyirahamwe ryitwa Ubuntu.
Ariko afatanyije n'abandi ariko nabo nta kibazo. Urabona natwe nanjye umupfakazi ariko iyo duhuriye hamwe tugakora igikorwa cy'iterambere tugira aho tuganisha buriya njyewe uko mbona tugakora duteza imbere cyane kugera kubwo bumwe no kwiyunga.
They learned to forgive each other, even though one murdered the other's family. And when I asked them how the reconciliation process was going, they said they still had problems, but they worked it out in the dark.
Twifuza tukaba tuhuriye hamwe tugakora tugomba gutegereza twihuriza abana bacu bahura n'abantu babatuye natwe abana tubatuye nawe ntatumara natwe tubashyira mu isi abamo ikibazo nkaho nabo bikoresha bakabakira bagashyira muri kiliziya kubasangira kuyasanga nta kibazo.
Okay. We're going to see after this the other Rwanda. Well, Rwanda is the best illustration on this topic of love. Rwanda is the best illustration. Because what the people are calling people to do in Nigeria right now, that headsmen, Fulanis are our problems, go and ask Rwandans. They used to think like that too. They have two main tribes in Rwanda, the Hutus and the Tutsis. Now, the Hutus used to think that the Tutsis were the source of their problem for whatsoever reason. There were reasons for it, tangible reasons. Okay, it's very similar to Nigeria. The Hutus, they were saying that the Tutsis were the only one ruling. They were ruling the country. They want to control power. And because they want to rule by all means, they started a propaganda in the Hutus. Just like in the South, like in Nigeria now. The Southerners of Nigeria are complaining that the Northerners want to control Nigeria. They want to rule Nigeria. The Hausa Fulani, they want to kill us. They are the herdsmen. They want to kill us. They want to rule something. We will not allow it to happen. We will not allow it. And that is that kind of talk, that kind of unforgiveness, that kind of spirit of anger and revenge led to one of the saddest genocides on the African continent and in the world. That led to genocide. That bitterness, that pointing fingers, that culture of pointing fingers at other people and saying they are evil, they are the ones who are to blame. That's not a Christian attitude, because we know that even when evil people like herdsmen or other people or Islamists or something are doing their evil, we know that they are not to blame. We know that we are not fighting against flesh and blood. We know that Satan has deceived them. We know that Satan is just using people, just using them. They are not to blame. But in Rwanda, they committed the same mistake that Nigeria is trying to commit now. That Hausas are our problem. Fulanis are our problem. Northerners are our problem. Oh, they want to take power. Let us just break. Or we will fight. Or we will revenge. They are killing us. Evil will never overcome evil. Evil will never overcome evil. That is one of the main principles that Jesus brought to the earth. Only good can overcome evil. Evil doesn't have the power to overcome evil. Only good has the power to overcome evil. So, but in Rwanda, they didn't learn that lesson. And they started, everybody want to revenge. What is the eye for an eye only leaves a city of blinds. Eye for an eye only leads to a city full of blind people. By the time you say eye for an eye, okay, eye for an eye, all of you will be blind because you all remove each other's eye, because nobody remains without offense in life. So that's what happened in Rwanda. They killed themselves, they butchered themselves. And, that whole nation was almost going to extinct. Millions of people were killed in a small country. But you know what? This thing I'm teaching now, Nigerians, that they should learn to love and use love to overcome hatred. Rwanda also learned that lesson. But they learned that lesson the hard way. Now they learn it. After they've lost the lives of every family, have lost the lives of many, many people. After they have butchered each other. After they have suffered so much loss that they were now begging to stop. They were now begging to love each other so that the killing will stop. Now, these people reconciled, forgave each other, started living with each other, like the example we just saw. And that example is somebody who killed the whole family. Now, they are partners in business, and they are building business together, and they are building the whole country together. And he's the one who killed the whole family members. This is in Africa. This is how love, as now, that kind of love, I was there in Rwanda. That kind of love is what the president and the government, the country was, they learned love the hard way. I don't want Nigeria to learn this the hard way. Let us learn it the Bible way. And you know what? When they learn that lesson of love and forgiveness, see what Rwanda has become now. Let's have a look at new Rwanda after love and forgiveness.
Welcome to Rwanda.
Welcome to Rwanda.
Welcome to Rwanda.
Welcome to Rwanda.
Welcome to Rwanda. to Kigali. For those who don't live here, we, Rwanda, are honored by the presence of our brothers and sisters from the continent.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that love doesn't lead to anything. I mean, hatred doesn't lead to anything good. Revenge doesn't lead to anything good. Only more evil. Only creates more problem, more evil. But when they learned the lesson of love, prosperity came to their land. Because they are now swimming in the current. They are no more swimming against the current. But they were swimming against the current of love, against the nature of God, against love. You know what happened? They self-destruct. They extinct. They self-extinct. They self-destroy themselves. But when now they are swimming in the path of love, the force of love is aiding them and bringing prosperity to them. In Nigeria, we don't have to go through the path of self-destruction before we learn this lesson. We are Christians. We can learn it just by obeying God, just by obeying the word of God. Love is still the solution, not hatred. So in that case, until you walk in forgiveness and love, you won't totally be healed. Like in the case of Rwanda, healing came because they walked in love. And to love, they needed to deny themselves. That woman, she needed to deny herself of the right to retaliate. That woman, she needed to deny herself of the right to hate. That woman, she needed to deny herself the right to hold bitterness against the person who killed the whole family. Someone killed your whole family, and now you are working together and living together and building a new community together. It is only possible, that kind of love only comes through self-denial. And that's why they could forgive, love, Otherwise, you won't be healed. It is that kind of love through self-denial that brings about healing. 2 Timothy 4:10 says, "For Demas has forsaken me, having loved this present world." You see, there are some people who will not listen to Jesus, who will not listen to God's instruction, because they have loved themselves and they have loved the world instead of loving God. But what we are talking about here is the love for God, not love for self. It is the inability to deny self that made Demas to love the world, the present world, more than God. Love for self leads you to the love for the world, and then that makes him to depart from the Apostle Paul. Even in the days of Apostle Paul, Demas left him, and for maybe he was still preaching the gospel. There are still people in the church today who are still preaching the gospel, but they have departed from the path of love. They have loved themselves so much that now they are loving the present world and the principles of the world above the principle of Christ. So Demas was like that, and then he left. He left the apostle because he couldn't deny himself. He had loved this present world. That's what I see in Nigerian churches. What makes Nigerian pastors to be teaching people to hate, to curse, to do all that, to ask for revenge because of love for self? They cannot deny themselves. That is the problem. We saw that the video. Yeah, okay. If you lose everything, no problem. Use it for God by discovering God. Use it for good by discovering God. If any evil has happened, no problem. Turn it to good by discovering God and His love. You remember the topic we are treating this week? Knowing and understanding God through love. How do we learn love? Through self-denial. Self-denial teaches us love. And through love, we get to know God and understand Him. Is where I was? Yeah. Okay. John 12:26 says, "If anyone serves me, let him follow me." And what does Jesus say? You want to follow me? Deny yourself. There's no way to follow God without denying yourself. And where I am, there my servant will be also. If anyone serves me, him my Father will honor. And God said, want to follow me? Deny yourself. Otherwise, you will live in hate, in hunger, and you might even drive yourself to suicide. Let's look at that video. We are going to see another video. Instead of this kind of teaching, let's look at another video, especially in light of the herdsmen teaching in Nigeria. I mean, the herdsmen killing in Nigeria. Am I encouraging the killings? No. But I know that we need to come with a solution, with God's solution, kingdom solution. Hatred, evil for evil, eye for an eye is not the solution. Hatred, only love still will overcome evil. Hatred will fail. Hatred can never bring lasting solution. Okay, here we go.
I am anointed to announce. Anyone sent to Nigeria to fight, Nigeria shall be a graveyard. If you return back to your country alive, I am not of God. I don't carry on. Nigeria. You see, the Bible said in Jeremiah 22:29, "Oh, earth, hear the word." So we want the earth to hear. Command the earth and say from today, every stranger who came to this country, on assignment of destruction, killing, in the name of Jesus, swallow them, bury them.
Well, that thing you just saw there, by that man doing, that nation doing, that's not God, that's not Christian. That is paganism, that is not Christianity. That is evil practice, not Christian practice. That kind of attitude, that kind of attitude only leads to hate. That kind of prayer, that kind of attitude only leads to anger and leads to people killing themselves without even knowing. So everything but for Christian, when you are able to live in self-denial and live in forgiveness, denying yourself of the right to retaliate, you will discover that everything works out for our good. Even when we are drawn, and then through that, you are drawn closer to God and to love. I don't understand. Somebody wrote a question. This is a question. I'm supposed to put like a question. I don't understand, or I'm not comfortable with people helping the poor and taking the camera to film it. That's what somebody wrote. That's a question that somebody wrote. So, because you remember the first day, I showed a man that was giving money and then, shooting it on camera. He said, I'm not comfortable with that because God said, Matthew 6:3, but when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. I would never do that, okay? But there is another scripture where God said, let your light so shine. It's Matthew 5. Let your light so shine before the world that the whole world will see it and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. What matters is your heart. If you are doing this so that people will be able to see and give you praise and praise you for it, then you have lost your reward. That is in this category. But if you are doing it so that people will see it and be able to copy it and be able to give glory to your Father in heaven, then that is right. That is right. So there are two different, it's about motive that God is talking about. For example, my own idea is to be able to influence 1,000 Nigerians, maybe to at least 1,000 Nigerians that will be giving money out like that, for their tithe and offering out, and filming it and posting it on Facebook and on YouTube and social media everywhere. Why am I targeting that? I want 1,000 Nigerians to be influenced to doing that and be posting it every day. By the time 1,000 Nigerians are posting what their good works that they are doing every day, it will change our whole mindset. It will change the whole way we are looking at it. It will inspire more people to be able to do something like that. So, it depends at the end of the day at the thinking and the intention in the heart of the person who is doing it. But, this is not just about giving. This is about anything you are doing before men to get praise for it. If the idea is for you to get praise for it, then you have lost your reward. But if the idea is for you to inspire others so that more people will be able to do good, or you to be able to make people to see the good that is been done to give glory to your God, to give glory to your Father in heaven, then there is nothing bad in that. Just like we give testimony of what God is doing, or we show, we show what God has done. God gave testimony of what He has done. He recorded it in the Bible, so that cannot be evil. Now, we are going to see how we practice this principle of love in the embassy of God's church. Again, like I said, after this video, everybody will be able to call in. So you be free to call in, and the way to call in is Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger. Look for Move Agents, Matic, Move Agents, Facebook Messenger. Okay. Meanwhile, let's have a look at this. What is happening in the embassy of God's church.
How many years were you addicted? 14 years. 14 years. How many years are you free? 6 years. 23rd of March, 6 years ago. Who are you? Who are you nowadays? I'm the leader of the adaptation flat, flat that is for those who came through rehabilitation, who came after rehabilitation center. I am in social council. I'm also in Ministry of International Affairs. I'm the member of home group of Pastor Sunday. I know better than you who you are. How many years were you addicted? 9 years I was addicted. 6 years in freedom. Who are you now? I'm married 8 months ago. This is the most important thing about you, I can see. I'm in social council in Kyiv State Administration. I'm the president of charitable fund. Also, I bought a car. I have business. I'm the founder of several building companies. I took drugs for 12 years. I am in freedom for 9 years. I'm the member of the social council in the ministry. Also, I'm in social council. Do you have social organization? I have 2 social organizations. I'm the leader of 2 social organizations and also of the charitable fund. I'm also a businessman. I have several businesses, and in my business I have more than 20 people, staff, and more than 40 people, colleagues, partners. And also last year I started to work with veterans. We influence their lives and we help them. We helped 120 veterans, and also I'm the member of home group of Pastor Sunday. How many years were you addicted? I was addicted for 10 years, drugs, and I'm free for 3 years. I'm the deputy director of social organization in the home group of Pastor Sunday. We entered 4 social councils. I got married this year, and I'm a wife now. I'm a happy wife. How many years were you addicted? I took drugs for 8 years, and I'm free for 5 years thanks to this church. And who you are now? I'm the director of the social organization, the director of the social council, the assistant of the member of the parliament, and the member of the home group. I was 3 years in prison. I was addicted for 14 years. I am the member of 3 social councils. I'm the leader of 6 rehabilitation centers. I study at the university, at the State University, in the first year of studies. I was addicted for 12 years. Now I'm in freedom for 6 years. I am the leader of 2 social organizations. I'm the leader of the political party. I'm the leader of rehabilitation center in Cherkasy region in Ukraine. I'm the assistant of the member of the state authorities, and I'm the member of the home group of pastor. My name is Evgeny. I am free for 8 years. I'm the assistant of Pastor Bossy. I'm the leader of social organization, the leader of rehabilitation center, the assistant of the member of the parliament. I'm entering the university. I'm studying at university, and this year I'm entering for the master degree. I'm in freedom for 2.5 years. I'm the member of the home group of Pastor Sunday. I'm the deputy director of social organization. I'm the leader of the adaptation flat of the rehabilitation center, and I'm thankful to God that I'm here. My name is Yulia. I was in prison for 3 times.
All right. This is just some of the work we are doing, and just to communicate to you the power of the gospel of love. The gospel of love overcomes hatred. And in this country, maybe one day we'll show the video about hatred, about racism against me, so that you will see that this is not because, you know, they love me so much. No, because the principle of love overcomes hatred. And one day I'm going to show you about how they relate to me sometimes in Ukraine. Yeah, we have a caller. Who is calling?
Good afternoon, DC.
Hello? Who is calling?
This is William Silo from Pennsylvania, USA.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm blessed, and you?
Well, we're trying to communicate love.
I thank God for your wisdom, and I thank you for your teachings of freedom. Now, if you look at it, if we take enemy out of the topics, most pastors in Nigeria have no topic to teach.
If you remove...
For example, you see, when I talk, I like to talk in black and white. Take Mountain of Fire for page 1 to the end. It's all about enemies. Now, I wish these pastors can keep quiet. But their problem is that they claim to provide solution to every member's problem. And every problem is always associated with an enemy. They don't believe that some of the things that are happening around us is just common sense or a different approach.
Yes.
Everything is all about enemies. Okay, for example now, I left my former church March last year based on what God showed me. 3 months later, I met you and I confirmed that my former pastor was a liar. Okay, this year, January, I came back from Denver and met him. He was trying to tell me it was the enemies, I said, let me tell you one thing. As a Christian, if you are still talking about enemies, you don't know what you carry.
Yeah.
When I came on the platform, and this is your prayer series, and when we treated the weapons we have against demons in September, believe you, I have a complete deliverance over everything.
Yeah.
So if a GO, and Pastor Akintayo Brown is the GO of God's Holiness Assembly Worldwide, and he was talking to me that it was the enemy that made me leave his church. I said, look, you don't know. I said, look, let me tell you one thing. I left your church based on what the Holy Spirit showed me. So most pastors, they blame everything on enemies. And for example, you were talking about that army that was supposed to be fighting Boko Haram. They were using oil. And you see, our main problem was, instead of use their logistic and tactical approach, he was using only oil. And that was exactly, yes. You see, when I watched that clip, that was why the Nigerian army cannot defeat Boko Haram.
Yeah.
Because God has given us the wisdom, the knowledge, everything. He said, when I met you, it was as God that most things, there are some things that we don't have to pray about you.
Yeah.
God has done it. Some people ask me, but I will say, I know. I say, look, I will not pray about that one.
Yeah.
This is common sense.
Yeah.
So the problem in Nigeria is if you remove enemies from the message, most pastors, they have nothing to talk about. Nothing. Nothing to, okay, look at Oyedepo, is on the enemies. They talk about, okay, Mountain of Fire, the prayer book from page 1 to the end is all about enemies. There's no love there. I'm afraid that, look, if your pastor told you that he pray your enemy to death, ask him, what power did you use? Not Jesus. Yes. In Matthew 5:44, Jesus said, pray for enemy. Lord, that is my. So there is no way your pastor will command Jesus to do contrary to his teachings. It's a lie.
Yeah.
And if you all those pastors fall down and die, you are just wasting our energy and time. In fact, since I met you, I did your prayer series, and that teaching in September we talk about the weapons against them. Believe me, when I pray, I don't remember any of my prayer.
Yeah.
They don't feature.
Yeah.
They don't feature at all. So it's only person that don't know where they carry that. We always have that mentality. Because most of the problems we have, they are common sense approach.
Yeah.
You remove enemies, I'm telling you, most pastors, they have no message. I'm telling you, they have no message, nothing to teach at all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Yeah, for those people who missed my messages on how to overcome satanic and spiritual attacks, go to my YouTube page, Sunday Adelaja Official. If you go to Sunday Adelaja Official, you'll be able to listen to all the messages. Or you could go to SoundCloud or Telegram, you'll be able to listen to my messages for free in all those places as well. So Sunday Adelaja Official, that's where you have all my messages. There are so many of them in series. Go to Facebook, Sunday Adelaja Official on YouTube, and go to homepage. And when you go to the one by one, layer upon layer, everything is there. Maybe you sit somebody else down, please. It's not the edge all the time. If I don't do your job for you, you don't do it. Just put somebody else. Hello? Hello, yes. Who is speaking, please?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, my mentor.
Pastor Edwin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Yeah, nice to hear your voice today.
Thank you once again for this this message. He that cometh from above is above all.
Yes, sir.
And sir, I must say that you will never cease to amaze your generation, because the truth is that where you are coming from, many people are not familiar with that part.
Wow.
And that is why it is difficult for people to understand you. So first of all, I want to thank you for sticking to the path of truth.
Thank you.
And I want to say that my eyes are being opened more and more each time you talk about this subject of love. I now see the reason why what is happening in Nigeria is reflecting the messages that are being preached and the messages that people keep hearing. It has created a climate, a spiritual climate that is not, is somehow, you will say, darkness.
Yes.
Similar to what happened to Jesus when he entered Caesarea Philippi.
Yeah.
So that climate, which is not the climate of love, it makes things difficult for people.
Yeah. So now you understand why I had to talk so strongly and passionately against the teachings of the fathers, not against individual fathers. No, I'm not against anybody. But why I had to be very uncompromising in exposing the paganism and syncretism there, that I say there is no church in Nigeria. I know there are remnants and there are many people who are teaching the right thing. But in the general terms, we have lost it. There is no church in Nigeria. And the so-called fathers, all the people are following about, and people think I'm angry and I'm against them, but they don't know the arm. If they would know what I know, even those people who are defending them, even their own church members will take stones. They will not be able to control themselves. They will take stones and knives, and because they have been trained to revenge, they will be going after these pastors to kill them or destroy them, because that is the thing they have been taught. If they know what I know, thank God they don't know what I know. Let them be angry at me, because these people, the problem with Nigeria is not with the politicians. The politician is secondary. The problem is value system. And value system comes from the churches.
Yes. I don't know. I wanted to share an experience I had some time ago. Are you with me, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. When I was in southern Borno as a missionary, something happened many years ago. I came back from 1 week of crusade, straight crusade. It was a village. And that night when I came, I was in the office. I was sleeping in the church office that time. Armed robbers came to the place to take away some of the things from the office, and they attacked me. So along the line, one of them was caught, and he revealed the rest. And the matter was taken to the police station. From there, it was taken to the court, the judge. I was injured, though. I still have the mark on my face. The judge exonerated one of them, who is like the kingpin that led them the armed robbery. He exonerated him because he was related to the chief judge of the state, and then sent the other two to prison.
Wow.
So while they were being taken to the prison, they asked me to give them money to buy food. And I gave them. I gave them money. They were taking them to the prison for the offense for what they did. They asked me to give them money, that they needed money to eat food, and I gave them that money. And because so that is why sometimes these messages need to be illustrated. The illustration you gave now, it makes the message so clear.
Wow.
So clear.
And
so thank you very much.
That is the same principle you use by giving them. That's what Jesus said. If your enemy is hungry, give them to eat.
Yes.
If they are thirsty, give them water to drink. Thank you, Pastor.
Yes.
That is Pastor Edwin Amimi, and he's doing great work, great, humanitarian work in Africa. Find him on Facebook. You'll be able to see all the great things he's doing in Nigeria. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All right. While we are waiting for the other people to come, okay, these are some of the books that I've written here. You need to write to dssbooks@gmail.com. These old books are very expensive on Amazon, so you write to dssbooks@gmail.com. You and Your Pastor is one. Declaring War Against Poverty is another one. The Whole World is Waiting for You is another one. Hello, we have a caller.
Hey.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, DSA.
Yes, please. Can you put off the Facebook or the volume, my volume in your place, so that we could hear you?
Right. Yeah. Hello, DSA.
Yes. Is that Idoreyi?
Yes, Idoreyi from Manchester.
Yes. How are you, man?
I'm very well, sir.
Yep. Nice to hear your contribution
How are you,
today.
DSA?
I'm trying my best, man.
I can see. Thank you so much for the teaching on love. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just called to contribute, just to boost what you've said, and just to say thank you, because the teaching on love for me is very deep and it's been lacking amongst us, even community, brothers, family.
Wow.
My family, my father had 6 brothers, so there were 7 of them.
Yeah.
From one mother.
Yeah.
And as we grew up as a communal family, all of them lived together.
Right.
Along the line, I don't know what happened because I was young then. They had a quarrel and fight, and they broke up, and they hated each other so much that even us, the cousins, it affected her. I kept saying, what is the problem? You greet your cousin, they don't answer you. The hatred was so much. And we've grown up to this point, and the family, all the brothers that they hated each other. And you keep asking, can we not live together? Even when I was getting married, I went to my uncles. I was begging them to attend my marriage. None of them came. So I looked at them now, and it's just that what you said is so true. Love conquers all. Hatred leads to pain and agony and sorrow. The life is so miserable and sorrowful because they have so much hatred in them. I just want to say to you, I've seen it firsthand that love conquers all, and I want to say thank you.
Wow.
The second part is, in May, I was in Rwanda, and I got to speak to the victims of the genocide.
Wow.
DSA, I broke down and I was crying because I visited the genocide site. And the man that took me there, he said to me, I watched my parents being killed. And I know the people that killed them.
Wow.
But we've forgiven them, and we are living as brothers and sisters. And I said to him, how did you do it? He said, we just had to forgive.
Yeah.
We just had to forgive, and we are happy now. And he was even encouraging me. I was so shocked, and it changed my life, DSA. the teaching on love is lacking among us. I've seen it firsthand that love conquers hatred. I've seen people write there and say, hey, if it was your family member that was killed, yes, it could be any of our family members, but it doesn't change the fact that love conquers hatred.
Yeah, but these Rwandans, it was their family member that was killed now, and they still forgave.
Yeah, it was his mother and his father. He was only 11 years old, and he remembered vividly when they killed them, and he knew the people that killed them. And now they are living in the same place together.
Yeah. Just like the one
and he's so happy, and they are so happy people, so loving people, and the country is growing rapidly.
Yeah, just like the ones we saw in the video now.
Yes, sir. I was there. I just learned that lesson, and you've made it clear today why that has happened. I'm just grateful to God, and I want to say thank you.
But Nigeria is, you see what pastors are preaching? They are going in the path of Rwanda that led to genocide.
DSA, when I started listening to you last year, I was still going to church. When I go into church and when they raise this prayer point, I couldn't be able to be praying them anymore.
Yes.
So I was heavy. My mouth used to be heavy. I couldn't pray them. So at a point, I said to my husband, there's no need for me to pretend anymore. I cannot fit in here.
Yeah.
So I had to leave.
Yeah.
So love conquers hatred. I don't want to be in the path of hatred. I don't want to spend my energy hating people. I want to rather spend my energy loving people.
Wow.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm grateful that my path and my destiny crossed with yours. God bless you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so very much, Doreen. Well, hey, here we are. And while we are waiting for the next caller, this is one of the other books that you might want to get. One of my older books called Calling, Purpose, and Attaining Goals. Growing Wealthy Without Tears. Accessing divine wisdom, the man that God is going to use, the road to greatness. Hello, we have a caller. Hello.
Hello, sir. This is Paul.
Oh, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir.
How is India?
It's fine, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, please speak into the microphone, and we are hearing you, sir.
Okay, sir. So I want to contribute into this, and this is actually very personal to me.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I guess I just have to say it. See, I grew up knowing my parents as not being friends.
Ah.
That's my dad and mom.
Wow.
All right. So throughout my life, I stayed with them up till, at least up till full time, up till when I was 22, 23, thereabout. I cannot say for 2 weeks or 1 month that they were truly friends.
Wow.
You know, whenever they are friends, you see, I just found out that my mom is pregnant. She was the third wife then, you know. Because my dad had to marry another woman again. You know. Now, how does it concern me? Yoruba people said, if your father does not like your mother, there is tendency that father will not like you. It's an adage. Okay. I'm just trying to interpret. I hope that you will understand.
Yeah.
So, me being the first child of my mom, or my dad, he never accepted me. You know, I was called names when I was growing. I was, I was the outcast. I was like an outcast.
Wow.
You know, severally, when I was growing, I thought maybe I was a mistake. You know, one of the things they called me all the time was Omale. That's the bastard.
Wow.
So, you know, I grew up like that until I met somebody who told me that the fact that they treated me like that does not mean that God does not love me. We go to church. But, my dad is who he is. He's a retired soldier. So whatever he says is final. And nobody questions him, And even in the society or in the community in our town then, even now, nobody can confront him whatever he says is final. So now I grew up in their midst until I left. Now, the thing is that I kept saying, I have forgiven them, all the things that happened to me. But the truth is, every time I try to reach out to him, it's still the same him. Even though he's an old man now, but it's still the same thing. My mom is still there. They live in the same compound, and they live just as if they are enemies. They go to the same church, but separately. And I'm just stuck in their midst, and my younger ones, and I have older ones also. But the truth is that there is no love at all. In fact, recently, about 2 weeks ago, I was actually saying maybe my mom should leave the house. But it's heavy in my heart. I'm a child of God, And I said, I've forgiven him. I try to reach out to him all the time, but it's not easy. In fact, in the last 2 years now, I have not spoken with him. And the reason is that each time I call him, it is the spirits of 20 years ago, what my mom did, what my mom didn't do well, how my mom did not greet one person, or how my mom was talking to his enemy. All these things are what he keeps saying all the time since I was a child, And I got tired, of this kind of thing. So I said, well, I'm just going to live my life separate, and was not going to stay in touch for at least for now. But I keep asking myself, I hope that I am not operating in unforgiveness. I preach forgiveness, and I keep trying to reach out to this man, but he doesn't want to be reached out to. I have prayed. I don't know what to do anymore. So hearing this message is not something new to me, and I think this kind of thing is embedded in some culture, in some of our culture, that we naturally have enemies. We naturally have see some people as our enemy. People who don't share our kind of mentality, we see them as enemy. Like my dad, for instance, if my mom is relating with some people whom he considers as enemy in the town, my mom automatically becomes an enemy because you are a friend to his enemy. Hello, sir.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned about you now.
Yeah, so my point is that I have tried to reach out to him, but it's just the same him, and it keeps making me. Each time I reach out to him, it just makes me feel broken.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. There is a difference between relating closely to him and loving him. That's a difference. There's a difference there. So, but you've got to let love conquer. And the way for love to conquer in this situation is that you've got to deny yourself in what area. If I were you, I would advise you to do this. Be manifesting and showing love to him through care. Be sending him some money or some care. What you do to your mother, do to him too. But that doesn't mean that you have to be talking to him. So you might not be in close proximity of relationship to him, talking to him. You might not be able to talk to him, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't love him. So what I'm advocating is keep on loving him in your heart and in your actions. But talking, not talking, that is already secondary.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You see, sir, when I was actually working full time, I was reaching out to him whenever I can. Whenever I reach out to my mom, I reach out to him as well. But right now, I am back to school full time, so I'm not able to reach out to any one of them, including my mom. So
yeah, but it might not be.
But she calls me.
It might not be
once
true.
in a week or twice in a week.
It might not be true money. It might not be through money. Just find a way to express your love and care, maybe even through prayers to him. Anyhow, but you just keep on loving him.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let me keep showing you some of our books that are here. Some of the older ones. These are older books. You cannot get them on Amazon Kindle, unfortunately. You've got to write to dssbooks@gmail.com. This one is called Spearheading National Transformation. Life and Death in the Power of the Tongue. Victorious Despite the Devil. Kings and Judges of the Earth. Life in God's Kingdom. Okay, we have a caller. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Very well, very well.
Yeah, I'm calling from Norway.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to chip in into this enemy must die culture that most Nigerian churches practice.
Yep.
And if you look at the life of Saul, how Saul became converted to Paul.
Yeah.
Saul was the greatest enemy of the disciples.
Yeah.
And if the disciples then, if they prayed that Saul should die, Saul would have died, and the work of Paul in the Bible was enormous.
Yeah.
We know that now Paul wrote a lot of epistles in the Bible.
Yes.
So to me, I think this culture, enemy must die, that most Nigerian churches practice. It has to stop. I think the Nigerian churches, they need to learn more from the disciples, because if they are disciples, if they pray that Saul should die when it was going to persecute them, Saul would have died on his way. But God became but Saul became Paul, and through Paul, many people became converted. So I just hope that most churches will learn this culture of love. Will stop laying much emphasis on enemy must die, enemy must die.
Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, let me tell you more about the books that are here. This one is called Happiness of a Woman, Happiness of a Man in one book. This one is called Living Sexually Free, How to Hear the Voice of God, Heavenly Atmosphere in the Family. So you need to write to dssbooks@gmail.com. Yes, we have a caller now.
Hello?
Hello, yes?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, man.
I'm Lovett, sir.
Lovett, how are you, man?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Italy.
All right, nice to hear from you. We want to hear your contribution.
You said?
We would like to hear your contribution today.
I don't really have any contribution. I wanted to say about what I'm passing through.
Okay, you want to talk about what you are passing through?
Yes.
Okay, you might need to call back or write.
Okay.
Yeah, because this one is like a callback, kind of program right now.
Okay.
Yeah, get in touch. Write to this Facebook Messenger later on, and
okay, sir.
Yes. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. We have some of the new books here. The Creative and Innovative Power of a Genius is one of them. Veritable Source of Energy. All these ones, you can read them for free on on Amazon, or buy them on Amazon. Hello?
Hello, good evening, DSA.
Good evening. Who is calling, please?
This is Bridget.
Yes, how are you? How is Sweden?
Sweden is cold and fun.
Yeah, it's cold here too. It's very cold in our place here as well.
Yeah.
Nice to hear your contribution today. Yeah.
Yes. DSA, I don't have the words to begin, honestly. This love series is just mind-blowing.
Wow.
I was listening to the previous caller, the brother that called in.
Yes.
Yes, and I really felt for him.
Wow.
Because when he was talking, I was thinking of myself. And I want to say that growing up in Africa, in Ghana, I heard so much and I saw so much that coming to Europe was like I came to heaven. Because we have this mindset. We go to church. We have, I don't know how to say, praying, and at the same time, you hear people cursing their children. And when the child grows up and doesn't succeed in life, because the Bible says life and death is in the tongue, on the tongue. So whether you want your child to prosper or you want your child to fail, is the things that you say. But unfortunately, what my eyes saw in Africa is every time cursing. There is no iota of love coming from anybody.
Wow.
It's very serious, DSC. No iota of love coming from anybody. I can tell you the first person that embraced me, that hugged me, apart from my grandparents on my father's side, were white people. And I couldn't understand.
Wow.
I asked myself, why is it that my own people cannot embrace me, cannot hug me? But a different race is doing that to me. So this love series, DSA, is really, I don't have the right to...
Hello?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yes. So, DSA, this series is so important that God bless you. And I hope that it's going to be a wake-up call for Africa to really understand what love is. Because the churches have failed.
Thank you, my sister.
Big time.
Thank you.
We have failed.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you so much. Blessings. Okay, let me show you some of the other books that we have here. Stop Walking from Kusam. How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. Work is better than vacation. Labor is better than favor. Nigeria and the Leadership Question. How to Become Developed Through Dignity of Labor. How to Overcome the Fear of Death. Finding answers to why people die tragic and early death. Pastor, Face Your Calling. How to Regain Your Lost Years. 7 Tips to Self-Fulfillment. Poverty Mindset versus Abundance Mindset. Create Your Own Net Worth. So all these ones I just spoke about, you can get them or read them for free on Kindle Unlimited, or you can buy them on Amazon. But for you to get them cheaper, you need to write to DSA's books at gmail.com as well, at gmail.com. So some of the old ones you can find on Amazon. Let Heroes Arise. Discover Your Latent Source of Energy. Olorunwa is my biography. It's on Facebook, also on Amazon. Mountain of Ignorance. How to Win in Life. Excellence, your key to elevation. Don't eat tomorrow's food today. Raising the next generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. How to become great through time conversion. What to do with your time. No one is better than you. Discovering the calling and purpose of nations. Nigerian economy, how the Nigerian economy can overtake the American economy. How to make Nigeria the greatest country in the world. Nigeria economy, the way forward. Only God can save Nigeria, what a myth. So these are all books that are available on Amazon. Either you read them for free on Kindle or you buy them on Amazon, or you can write to DSA's books on my blog, DSA's books, just on my email, dsasbooks@gmail.com. Or you could go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books. I am a person. Am I a personality? Where there is problem, there is money. Insulted by ungodliness. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. Life is an opportunity. Why losing your job could be the best thing that has ever happened to you, or that could happen to you. Okay. The danger of monoculturalism. Who am I? Problems, your shortcut to prominence. How to be in the here and now. Money won't make you rich. How to secure your financial future. Then some of the old ones again that you cannot buy, they might be there on Amazon, but they'll be too expensive, or you should write to dsasbooks@gmail.com. Time is life. Those who are Christ. The wilderness of your life. Mighty warriors. Treasures of the kingdom. Pastoring without tears. Successful marriage takes work. Jesus you never knew. The restorers of the earth. Then you have the kingdom-driven life, that's on Amazon, and church shift. All right, let's see. Do you have calls? If you have calls, then let's receive some calls now. Before we go, all right. If there are no calls, then that's how we're going to end today. So it was nice being with you today. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Peace.